Good afternoon, and welcome to another installment of Smoke and Mirrors. I'm your host, Stephen Polius, alongside Greg Polius. And unfortunately, Declan Krogman couldn't make it to today, at least. He has midterms, which, Deck, good luck. But Greg, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you doing over there? CC,
I'm
I
good,
asked you
man.
this time. I asked you how you're doing this time.
Yeah, no, I noticed it's all right. I'm doing well. It's been a busy week, good busy. But yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm excited for this episode. I feel like with um playoff baseball happening, there's always a story when we come on. Whether it's baseball or football right now, like there's always something happening. So it's exciting to have the show. I also got to watch you on Fan Zone on Tuesday, you and Carl. Um, very interesting. For those that didn't get to see, you should go check it out.
What was
Whenever Greg
what
makes an
you
appearance.
what you like about that episode?
I mean, the back and forth to you and Carl, I think that you guys it shows that you've known each other for quite a while. and whenever you have an argument, it's there's a lot of history that is
That is,
unfolded with that argument.
that is
But it's
true. I feel
colorful. It's colorful, it's fun. Mike and Manny do a good job on there. So, I popped in there, said my little 2 cents, and then I listened the rest of the time. It was good though. Um, I
so.
gotta make
Shout out
another.
to. I see you still rocking your Comic Con hairdo. So shout out to that. See
Oh
the
yeah,
little flip. I see a little flip.
yeah. Yeah, it's like my little Superman curl, but not really a curl. But every now and then when I wear my hat, I like to have it out there a little bit, get my little bang going. It's cute. um, but yeah, no, it's nice to have the weather one has been good today. I went outside for the first time a
It's
little while
really
ago.
nice.
It's been inconsistent, as y'all all know, as far as like having to wear a jacket in the morning time and then take it off in the afternoon and maybe like wear a t-shirt. Like it's sporadic, but it's a beautiful day for weather-wise, and it's a beautiful day for sports. But if you don't have anything else, I want to get into this lineup we have, and starting with baseball. All right.
Absolutely.
Because last night, I was out last night, right? And I think I looked at the group chat and I saw going off about the Dodgers and the Giants. And I'm like, oh man, I gotta get on my phone. So I'm over there watching the game on my phone, and it was it's about as good as it can get for a game five to me. With the exception of that ending, because it was an amazing game until it wasn't. Ending on that check swing on that strikeout. But I mean, the shout out the Dodgers bullpen. Logan Webb did an amazing job going out there, and was it 6 strong? I think he went.
I
Um,
believe it was. He might have went seven actually.
7, yeah,
I think it was
I think
seven.
you're right. A 7 strong. Um, but the pitching was spectacular, and then you have the top of the sixth inning. Mookie Betts, right? Like, and this is why Mookie's one of the best. Like, he had a so-so season for Mookie, dealing with the hip injury most of the year. But the man hits a single, which I thought he could have stretched into a double down the left field line. But this is how underrated speed is. He steals second, and immediately the pressure's on the Giants. This is the top of the sixth. So at this point, it's a gridlock, and
And
you need to get that out.
even with one out, it changes how the pitcher approaches the next batter.
It changes the defense. All right. Because then Corey Seager comes up, line hits a double, scores Mookie, and you have that momentum shift. But kudos to the Giants, man. All season long, all they did was scrap. And here comes Ruff in the bottom of the sixth with a solo shot to dead center.
Resurrected his career with the Giants. He was out of baseball for a couple years.
He was, and resurrected his career. I mean, this postseason has not been kind to him. He's been like he was batting .91 or something like that. He's batting 91 on the postseason, so he wasn't necessarily contributing, but he made a big hit when it mattered, a clutch hit. Now, in the ninth, uh, watching Bellinger hit that single to score that second run was it was nice. I appreciated it because Bellinger struggled all regular season.
Yeah.
He had been like just a completely different hitter, and here he was in a very big moment, needing a big hit, and he got it. It was a hard hit single up the middle that scored. I forget who had scored on that run.
I'm losing my train of thought.
A part of me thinks it's Mookie because Mookie was on base the whole game.
I remember at one point Mookie was 4 for 4. I was like, oh, Mookie's carrying the Dodgers right now. He just put him on his back and said, "Let's go."
Yeah, no, he did. And it's exactly what you expect from big players and big moments. It's a game fives, do or die. They get that second run, and here you are, the bottom of the ninth, Max Scherzer coming in. And I love the Dodgers approach, right? This guy's coming off of what 1 day of not even a day of rest. Did he not pitch the day before?
I think it's 2 days.
Yeah, 2 days. And he comes in like Mad Max. I mean, him talking
He's
to
a
himself.
dog. Like,
he
that's
is
what
a dog.
he does.
I like the pitch selection. I like what they were calling, how they were mixing it up. And like I said on the beginning of this, I did not like how it ended though, because Wilmer Flores did not deserve to get punched out. He was nowhere close to actually breaking the plane. And even if he was close, that's still not how you end game 5.
I'm gonna touch on that in a second, but I do want to shout out some, even though the Giants were my pick to win also. That's going to shits.
Yeah.
But Will Smith is the unsung hero on the Dodgers. Not just for his clutch bat, because that's kind of what he's become known for, but especially Yankee fans can appreciate Will Smith because they've seen how bad Gary Sanchez really is as a defensive
stealing
catcher.
Calls.
And what Will Smith is able to do, not just stealing calls, but blocking the ball. That is so important in the playoffs. And Will Smith really did a great job at keeping the ball in front of him, making sure to buy his pitches, which leads me to the umpires. Not just this game, but this entire series. If there was ever a series in baseball that made the case for robotic umpires, as much as I hate the notion of robotic umpires, these guys were brutal all the way around. And there was one game the Giants won where I think they blew like 22 calls for them. That's inexcusable in a playoff game. That should not happen. And I get it. They say, oh, it's impossible for us to get every call right. I get it. A call here or there is cool. 22 calls in a 9-inning game is unacceptable.
I agree with that. And I mean, when you're talking about robotic umpires, the setup now is just for behind the plate. You're not saying, first and third, like you don't have the field umps that are going to be replaced. They're still going to be there calling the exact same calls of blowing them, rather.
I feel like in that case, though, they should have gone to that should be reviewable.
That's where I was going. That should be reviewable.
Moment, that needed to be reviewed because you cannot end a closeout game like that. It's just bad for the sport.
I think that if you could ever any situation where a game could be ended, that call should be reviewable, right? Like for moments like that, because here it is, you have human error, obviously that's involved. He missed it. He clearly missed it at first. But the fact that we can't get it, the camera got it right, but we can't go back to say you were wrong and have Wilmer Flores back in the box to get the pitch that he deserves, whether he does strike out or he gets a hit, it doesn't matter. The bat was taken out of his hands.
That's a fact.
And the robotic umps, to me, I still don't know how to feel about it, right? Because there is a certain human element that you want in baseball, right? The aspect that, someone can get it wrong, that it can go in your team's favor, right? Umpire misses a call, maybe makes up a call later on in the game or the next next pitch. That has been infused into the game. And for the traditionalists, for sure, they want that. They enjoy that aspect of it. I think that if we I know it lengthens the game, but to make those calls reviewable and get it right, I prefer that because they're still going to have the ump, right? Because I think the way that the robotic ump works is that there's like the strike zone and it's called like wherever, and then the umpire behind the plate gets it in the air like, okay, that was a strike or that was a ball. So they're told.
I wonder if there's a delay on that.
I mean, technology, I'm sure there's a slight one, but you're probably waiting like a second or two for the call to come in. But I think that's how it works, that they're going to get the call, whether it's a ball or strike, and then they would tell them what the call is. What are your thoughts though on that? Like, are you really ready to remove that element out of the game and just have these umpires, at least the plate umpire there to, I don't know, call safe and out?
I think I would like to see it on a trial basis before I'm full blown, yes, robotic umps, but I am disgusted at how that game ended and how the series has been umpired. And like Zane said in the comments, shout out to Zane's Astros. We're going to get to them in a second. But just the umpiring has not been good. And I know shout out to Manny in the fan zone. He sent this umpiring Twitter page and they were saying umpires they see in 98 mile an hour fastballs and sliders and it's impossible for them to get it right every pitch. And they have to, they don't have the eyes for that. Get young umpires. Like do an eye test, get younger umpires. You know, if that's the excuse that we're going with, that we have trouble seeing, get people with better vision.
I do like what Zane's saying here about the biggest concern is the MLB generates numbers and metrics for overall how these umpires perform in the regular season, provide an incentive for umpires to allow them to work postseason games. Stop assuming years experience and veteran umpires need to work these crucial games. 100%, Zane. I mean, you're hitting the nail on the head. I think because they do have the metrics for all the umpires. The umpires with the best metrics at the end of the regular season should be the ones that are in the postseason. Because as ball players now, when we play our regular season and we get to the postseason, we have certain umpires we see behind the plate or in the field, and we know we're about to be screwed because they're going to miss a call or they're going to get it wrong. And sometimes I feel like on purpose, like they have beef with us almost, and that's a part of the human element. You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't be surprised in some cases.
No. But see, my thing is it's not that far-fetched. Controversial calls are like calls that can go either way, right? Like tie doesn't go to the runner. You know what I mean? That is subjective. What the umpire chooses in that moment when the ball hits the glove and the foot hits the bag at the same time. There's no official call for that. So that umpire gets to choose in that moment whether that person's safe or out. And that's what I'm saying. Like that human element starts to come into play more in those moments. And you want to add the review to allow for the correct calls to be to rise to the surface instead of us always looking at replays and saying, man, how did they miss that? But Zane, again, 100% right. There should be a threshold that you have to hit, and how frequently you're right during the regular season, how often you get the calls right during the regular season for you to get to the postseason. No longer is it about seniority, because a lot of these umps know it's obviously the bigger money. Seniority gets them into the postseason. Yep. And here we are dealing with bullshit calls like last night. Because when you look at the replay, it first of all, looking at it live, it was clear to everybody that he didn't go around.
Even Dodger.
But then you look at the replay and it's just egregious. Yeah, it's egregious though.
Angel Hernandez should never umpire a playoff game in his life. Like the fact that he was on any crew is a disservice to all players involved. Major League Baseball, I don't care how many years Angel Hernandez has been umpiring. I get it. He's been there for years. Like I remember Angel Hernandez from when I was small. He does not deserve to be an umpire. I'm sorry. He just does. He has proven nothing, and he's wrong and strong on top of that.
Well, yes, very true. But a lot of umpires there's a lot of power that they have. I will say we're talking about one way, right, where umpires from regular season that have a really good record get to go into the postseason. But I think those that are at the bottom of the league, the umpires that are at the bottom of the pile that have been very poor, like they're up for evaluation. Like there has to be incentive for them to be better other than, I want to work the postseason.
That's a whole fact.
You could be replaced if you do not pick it up. And I think that they should put more emphasis on having the top tier and cream of the crop when it comes to umpires.
It would make
because it helps the integrity. It improves the integrity of the game at the same time as well. Because the Angel Hernandez don't make the cut. Either he gets better or he gets moved off. And that I just think that has to be a part of the process as well. When we talk about reevaluating how baseball is played. Because when you get the calls right, obviously the fans are excited. A blown call that gets overturned, the other side is going to be upset about it, but at least they know it was the right call.
That's what that right there is the key, that it was the right call. Yeah. This is what I feel is right, because your feelings don't matter in that moment. Did you get it right as per baseball standards and rules?
Yeah, very true. I do, when you shouted out Manny before, Manny's been taking a lot of L's in this week,
especially on Tuesday.
yeah. As the White Sox, I mean, you were on the fan zone, so you got to talk about that. Because I think were the White Sox? The White Sox were losing when you were on.
Yes, they were. They were getting smacked.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Losing was a little bit too soft. They were getting smacked. They're getting demolished.
Oddly enough, as many L's as Manny took on the fan zone and just in that Tuesday, Carl somehow took more. Don't even ask me how it happened. You watched it though.
I mean, I did watch it. I think there was that moment when you cut out and y'all going back and forth. I want to say it was basketball related.
It was Kyrie Irving related.
Yeah, Kyrie. Oh, but for that White Sox series, I expected the Astros to win. I just think they were the better team, and ultimately the White Sox didn't show up. But right now for the ALCS, we have the Red Sox and the Astros, and the
Great
NLCS.
series. Terrible for
is.
Yankee fans.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But then the NLCS, Braves and Dodgers. So Red Sox, Astros, that's coming up. That's today, actually. They're playing today. We have Chris Sale going up against Valdez for the Astros, and Chris Sale for the postseason has 1 inning, and his ERA is a 45. He has a 5 WHIP, so he hasn't been good. And even how he in the how we ended the season, Chris Sale was very shaky. So this isn't exactly the best matchup, I think, for the Red Sox going into this series. Valdez, at the same token, has not been great either. 4 1/3, 8 ERA, 8.31 ERA, with 1.85 WHIP. So these are guys that are putting people on base. So this could potentially be a high-scoring game, depending on how long they stay in the game. I want to know from you, who do you have? Who do you think for the series, and who do you have tonight?
So I think we have to acknowledge that the Astros, not just for this year, but for the last 5 to 6 years, are just one of the best teams in baseball. And not only one of the best teams, one of the best run organizations in baseball.
Yes.
Damn the cheating.
Do you remember when they were in the National League and it was announced they're going to the AL and everyone laughed?
Yes, I do remember.
There was not a chance that the Astros would ever.
But they were
win
really
anything.
bad when they changed leagues. They were
for like
awful.
2 years. For like 2 years, though, I feel like the turnaround was quick. It wasn't
but
that.
They
long
were losing 100+ games. Like they were really. But what they were able to do is because they through trades and stuff, and they just they developed talent
they drafted really well, and they developed the talent very well. And you see that now with the players they have.
And you can lose a big piece like a George Springer and still find yourself back in a ALCS. Like I think people underestimate how big that of a deal that is. And that is why for this series, I have the Astros, because one, this team is more battle tested than this particular Red Sox team that has been put together. And the Astros can beat you in a multitude of ways. It doesn't always have to be the home run. They can play small ball. Their pitchers step up in big moments. The line. If Lance McCullers is out, will that hurt? Yes. But again, the Astros find ways to win, and they've done it all season. And what a lot of people, especially since we're in the tri-state area, don't talk about is the Astros were the second best team in the AL. They don't talk about it. And they've been nothing but consistent for the last 5-6 years. And I want nothing more to see the Astros in the World Series and to take it all.
After your Giants.
After the Giants. I mean, this is my next pick. Because it's kind of like a chaos thing going on where it brings chaos to the baseball world, and these fans that don't want to admit the truth. We may know some of them.
Actually. Some of them have been on the show. Some of them might actually be a part of the show. But and Deck, you know that I would hit you with that shot if you were here. But I want to say Kyle Tucker, another homegrown talent. Kyle Tucker has been a revelation for the Astros. And then you look at that Graveman trade, right? Which at that point, everyone in Seattle thought that they were giving up. But Graveman, just their bullpen, like you said, there's a multitude of ways that they can beat you. And if you get to their starter, you still have to deal with their bullpen. And if their bats are quiet in the beginning of the game, it's very hard to see them staying quiet throughout the rest of the game.
Yes.
And I just don't think that the Red Sox have, like, again, because they're not balanced, they don't have what it takes to go toe-to-toe with this team in this 7-game series. I think it's going to be very tough for them to pull it out.
I didn't give my games. How many games?
It's for the series?
Yeah, how many games do you think it's going?
Oh. I'm gonna go with 4.
4. Wow, you gonna win a sweep?
Yeah, I'll go with 4.
Wow.
And you know what? I'm channeling your energy from the Nets. That's funny, Leticia. I like that little dip move she did. Yo, let Leticia know her hair's looking fire, by the way. I'm loving the volume.
He got a better laptop, so his range is wider.
She was like, I'm not usually on the screen. Yo,
shout out to the wife.
Yeah, shout out to Leticia. That was too funny. She was dumbfounded. Yeah, I was channeling your energy from the Nets playoffs.
Nets in 3?
Celtics. Yeah. Well, not that ridiculous, but just like that kind of confidence, though. I can see that. I can see this happening here. Although, yes, the Red Sox are riding high after beating the Rays. I think that this game could set a tone for the rest of the series, how it plays out. And
So
I wouldn't
okay,
be surprised
finish.
if they went to 4.
That usually I'm the one with the wild takes. It's
Yeah.
usually me. You're way more measured.
It's what I'm sipping on today, you know?
What you got? What you got in there? What you got in there?
A little coconut Ciroc and a little juicy juice.
Oh, you fancy. Pinky up, pinky up.
Mm.
Yeah, I did not expect you to go there. I'm gonna go Stros in 6 because I do think that the Red Sox do have a potent offense. Like it may not be as balanced as the Stros, but I do think the likes of a Xander Bogaerts, or Rafael Devers, they can make noise.
They can.
And I think their pitching can hold up in a game or two. But over the longevity of a 7-game series, I do not think that the Red Sox are the better team. Now, if we were talking Tampa, that's a different
problem.
story. What you said?
It's like their pen to me.
Yes,
is
yes.
also like just a huge.
Yeah,
issue.
their pen is a huge issue. But I just think the Astros are going to outlast them.
Is JD Davis? Is he back? Is he healthy?
JD Davis plays on the Mets, sir.
Sorry, JD Martinez. Sorry.
Yeah, he's back.
Got you. I was gonna say that I think that while Devers and Bogarts and JD Martinez can they're the bats that they have that offense moving.
Mm-hmm.
I have a hard time believing that the Astros can't go toe to toe. And that's the thing. Yes, they can get the lead, but can they sustain the lead? Because you need your pitching to be there to sustain those leads.
Again, Richard Carlo is in a comment saying F the Astros. No, Richard, I want you to admit how good they are. Admit that they are the best team in the American League for the last 5 years. That's what I want you to do.
Zane has them in 6. Did you give your number yet?
I said 6. Stros in 6. I think the Astros could steal a couple games.
Yeah, the Red Sox could steal a couple.
I mean, Red Sox, yeah.
You're saying the Red Sox could steal a couple. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool. What about the Braves Dodgers series?
This is really intriguing because the Braves aren't supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to the Braves GM. Don't know his name. Forgot to look it up because I don't care about the Atlanta Braves like that. That's just rivalry thing. But they did what Sandy Alderson didn't at the deadline. Somebody went down, a big star went down, and they went and got pieces to fill his role. Amicable pieces that can get the job
Peterson.
done. Yeah, Jock Peterson. Soler was struggling, but he's making plays in the postseason now for them.
Mm-hmm.
And the Dodgers have all the talent in the world. I mean, they got 3 Cy Young candidates, with Kershaw out, which is just insane. Yeah. This is probably one of the most insane pitching staffs we will ever see in the postseason in modern in the live ball.
There's just a lot of talent, just a ton of talent.
And I just want to shout out Urias because I don't think people understand how good he really is.
He's
this
been that
kid
way
is
for a while though.
But in his mid-20s, he has compiled a veteran-like resume and just a big game pitcher. But that's not what really amazes me about him. What amazes me about him is his ability to change speeds and eye levels, and his location is just impeccable. And the fact that what you said?
No, I was gonna say he does with a mid-90s fastball, right?
Yes, he does. 93 to 95. You will rarely see him 96 plus, if ever.
Yeah, he's 25 years old.
He to me is the X factor right here. Because I don't think the Braves have another guy in their rotation that can match him. This is why I have the Dodgers in 5.
Dodgers in 5.
It's all about the pitching here to me. The Dodgers, we could see that the Dodgers could be shut down by good pitching. We see that. But ultimately, the talent wins out, and the talent on the Dodgers side is just too much for the Braves to handle, in my opinion. Braves are a cute story, but I don't see them competing here.
Hold on, I have to go back to this. Back when we were on Monday, when we were choosing the winners for the Dodgers and Giants series, we all took Max Scherzer. You took the Giants, right?
I did.
Yeah. That was and I remember when I looked at the results, I meant to hit you up and talk to you about it because I was like, well, damn, it came down to a home run. like the tenacity
Yes.
of that of that Giants team. But I agree with you here. I mean, the reason that I chose the Dodgers then, it was the talent, right? You had Max Scherzer on the mound, but you have those bats. And it's the same reason I agree with you. I'm going to go with 5 as well for the Dodgers. I just think that the Braves, while they're a nice story, very cute story, they are scrappy. They have done enough to get to this point.
I don't like this. There's too much agreement going on. I got to find something to disagree with you on. I don't like.
I mean, bro, we just disagreed, or not disagreed, but like I went with 4 for the Astros.
No. I need a bigger disagreement. I don't like all this agreements.
All right, bro. I mean, sometimes it's brotherly love. You don't gotta do the extra stuff. There'll be something else. We have a lot of other things we're gonna talk about, so you'll have a moment to have that. So we can agree on this. I'm gonna go with 5, like you. All right.
All right.
I think it's a good call. I think, like I said, I think the Dodgers are too talented.
Chuck said the Dodgers should have lost for starting Corey Knebel, but it actually worked for them.
It did. It worked wonders for them. And Urias came through and was
it stretched the game for them.
He did. Outside of the home run, he was phenomenal.
That was a bomb, by the way.
And I was gonna say it was a bomb. Like that was, it wasn't even a bad pitch necessarily.
It wasn't. You know why it was a bad pitch? Because it was 6 straight. And it was middle in, and he had him timed. So I'm gonna go with it was a bad pitch selection.
I was saying the location of the pitch because I could agree with pitch selection. I was saying the location of the pitch to me was not necessarily bad. A pitch that you can get beat dead center with.
Fair enough.
Typically.
Your nephew keeps trying to sneak in. I'm gonna give him one of them Looney Tunes.
You trying to get on camera?
Yeah, man.
I hear him actually. I just heard him in the background. But yeah, we're gonna keep note of that. So we have the Red Sox Astros tonight, and then tomorrow is going to be game 1 of the Braves Dodgers, and then game 2 of the Red Sox Astros.
Yeah, and guys, we've been on the show. We've complained about start times. Start time tonight is 8:07, which is a legitimate start time. But yet we have non-baseball fans. Well. Yeah, and non-baseball fans in the chat like Baron Alex Curtin, or how he say his last name, talking about this is why nobody likes baseball. So to that I say, shut up, Baron. All right, we can move on.
When was that? I must have missed him.
You missed it. It just happened while you were like introducing.
Got you.
I just caught it. Declan tagged me, so thank you, Declan.
Nice.
Declan got time now.
I was gonna say Deck got time, clearly. He's on his phone during the midterm. I want to move on to another happening last night, which was Thursday night football. And it's Bucks versus Eagles. I don't think anyone was surprised necessarily with the outcome. Bucks won 28-22. But Greg, I want to talk about Jalen Hurts because I feel like the last game you were like, oh, like he did enough to win. And yes, he did it on the ground. I think he had 10 carries, 44 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 1 in the air, but he is struggling as a passer, and it is very apparent. And this is against a Bucks secondary that we've talked about throughout this year that is hurt, that is hampered, and most quarterbacks have taken advantage of, at least to throw more than 100-something yards. No one has the Eagles making it out of the East, obviously. But what do you make of where they go from here? Because again, the outcome was expected, but I just think that the performance by Jalen Hurts was just porous. And I want to add that they did trade Zach Ertz. He's now a Cardinal, and what they got back was a cornerback and a 5th-round pick in 2022, I believe. So at least you just have Goddard now. They don't have to worry about paying both of them. But again, give me your take on this.
My take is that Nick Sirianni needs to be fired yesterday, and the head coach of the Eagles next season should be Eric Bieniemy. That's my take. That's what unlocks Jalen Hurts, because you got a guy who probably failed upwards. Honestly, he's never called plays.
Yeah,
he was never a coordinator, but yet he's a head coach and he's calling plays in NFL. Why is that okay? You have coaches that have worked
mediocrity
years, and have not had an opportunity to call plays. They've been quality control coaches,
quarterback coaches,
but there's wide receiver coaches on offense that still don't get. Why does this guy get to come in and call? Who is in Philadelphia's front office that said this was a good idea? And not only that, he does not put them in a position to win. He puts the onus on a young quarterback. Why does Miles Sanders have 1 carry in the first half? Like, how is you have one of the most dynamic backs in football, yet you choose not to use him? It doesn't make sense. He needs to go and fast. I don't. He's the next Adam Gase. That's like when I watch Eagles games, I see Adam Gase.
I feel like you're giving him too much credit. I don't disagree with that though. He hasn't been good. The lack of running is very apparent. I don't understand. Gainwell seemed to be a good spell back, a good. Not that Miles Sanders can't be a three down back, but Gainwell they almost primarily use as a pass catcher only. And I just expected more runs. There's only 9. There's only 9 carries from Miles Sanders in that game. You know, on the other
ridiculous.
Yeah.
Ridiculous.
But they were down, right? They were down for the majority of the game, and it seemed like it was getting out of hand before later into the game. But I will say that getting away from the running game so early is not something that benefits a rookie quarterback, as we've seen time and time again.
100%. We see that the stronger the running game, the easier it is for the passing game to open up.
Trevor Lawrence is looking a lot better now that James Robinson is getting more carries.
Now that Urban Meyer is not being an asshole.
He's still being an asshole. I think that it's not about him not being an asshole. I just think that there was enough pressure that he's letting someone else make a decision. Like, what do you guys think? He's probably like he's in the meetings like somebody throw me a bone.
Also, shout out to Rick in the comments. He said it's really telling to see how crazy the Philly crowd went when Sanders got a carry. And Philly fans don't cheer for anything because they're just the worst fans ever.
Degenerates? Are you calling them degenerates? I think I heard degenerate.
I feel like that's accurate.
I think that's what you said. So if there's
I feel like I said it too.
I didn't say it. I'm saying you said it. I didn't say nothing.
I mean, I'll wear that. I'll own that. Philly fans are degenerates. They're the worst. But to have that, like, what is going on in Nick Sirianni's head where he's game planning? He's like, yes, I gotta run the ball 5 times and we'll be able to win a game in the NFL. You good? You frozen?
Yeah. I think I'm good. I heard it kind of glitch when you were speaking, and I wasn't sure if that was me or you. So I was like, let me not say anything, because then you get the skip. It's a wild thing. I wanted to make mention of the running game for the Bucs because it hasn't been consistent most of the season. Garrison, give you not even flowers. I'll just make note that after the first game when Ronald Jones fumbled and ended up in the doghouse, he has remained in that doghouse through 6 weeks now. And Leonard Fournette and even Giovanni Bernard, like, he is a part of the passing game much more than I expect him to be. But they rushed the ball 22 times. He had 81 yards and 2 touchdowns.
I ain't like that game plan. I ain't like it. Not for my fantasy.
I was gonna say that sounds fantasy
at all.
Well, okay.
I need Brady to throw the ball 40 times a game.
All right, no. But you say that like you don't want him to throw to someone specifically, because Mike Evans had a really rough night.
Bro, four targets for 2 catches in 27 yards. Not happy about it.
No. I mean, for my fantasy purposes, I'm not happy either. But Brady, he dropped back 42 times, 34 completions. You had his connection with Antonio Brown is very apparent.
It was the dig and dunk. You know why? Because Darius Slay took the one thing I'll say, the Philadelphia defense said Mike Evans is not going to beat us over the top. And they had Darius Slay shadow him. And Brady is, if you're blanketed, Brady's not going to throw you the ball. You know? He's going to go to the lesser matchups where AB was eating on these lesser corners. So it makes sense. So Garrison, no, you did not win yet. So relax.
That's why you're feeling some type of way. But yeah, even OJ Howard.
He came in the chat talking hot last night.
Oh, yeah. He actually called me while he was in the chat, like, yo, did I say that Mike Evans was average? I'm like, I think you did say that. It sounded like you said something like that. But yeah, you had OJ Howard with a big game. And Leonard Fournette.
Who's that guy? I haven't heard about that guy in like a year.
Honestly, like, I thought it would be great. Everyone, I'm pretty sure in fantasy, when Rob Gronkowski went down, you're like, let me go get Cameron Brate, because once upon a time he was the guy, and he's barely seeing any targets. And here you have OJ Howard, who is having a somewhat of a renaissance.
I mean, one game, I wouldn't call one game a renaissance, but he had a really good
for him, yes. And I think that Gronkowski, it seems like he was almost back. If this wasn't a Thursday game, maybe it's a Sunday game, he might have played. So week 7, we might see Rob. Are they on bye? They might be on a bye.
Yeah, they're week 7 bye.
Yeah,
I gotta
yeah.
think about my
Okay.
quarterback situation now.
Gronk is definitely going to be back in week 8. So it might be the last game we see of OJ Howard as long as Gronk is healthy. I want to get into some of these Sunday games though, because it's some interesting matchups. And I want to start with the most interesting to me, fantasy wise, and just like as a fan of the sport. Chargers at Ravens.
Let's go.
Now,
so much riding on this.
For everyone that watched the Monday night game, and for every Lamar Jackson hater out there, for every and if you don't consider yourself a hater, but you talk about him as he's great for a running quarterback, and not about how his skills as his skills as a passer mean nothing. The man threw for 400 that night, but he has
442,
two 300 passing yard games under his belt before that. And if you watch that game, you can see, and this is something that I think any Lamar fan or any person that watches the game without bias can see, that he has the ability to pass the ball, and he's not always looking run first. He only runs when there's a bunch of room out in front of him, and he knows he's the most talented runner on the field, so he's going to get the yardage. 2, with it's literally nothing downfield, but he's constantly looking downfield to make a bigger play. And the flick of that damn man's wrist, boy,
look at him.
It comes out so easy. But Hollywood Brown has been much better this year outside of that one game.
Shout out to Sammy Watkins.
Yes. Watkins. They're getting Bateman back. He just got removed from IR today. Like, they're going to be dangerous. All right. And knowing that their defense is as prolific as it has been, I am curious how these Chargers, how the Chargers and Justin Herbert's going to do. I will say that Derwin James for the Chargers is going to make it hard for a Hollywood breakout, right? But I think this is where Bateman comes in, and that could be really big. And I think Bateman to me is a key piece, even though they said they want to slow him into his role because he's coming off of a major surgery. I do believe that Bateman could have a really big game if they take away Hollywood.
Just to correct you there, because they use Derwin as like a hybrid safety outside linebacker, so he's going to either cover Andrews middle of the field, or
no, you're right. No, you're right. It is Andrews. No, you're right. It's going to be an Andrews.
I can see another weapon. Samuel Jr. being the one that kind of shadows Hollywood, and then that's when you kind of see who is going to be the other guy to step up for the Ravens.
There is you don't have Sammy Watkins, so it's going to be Bateman.
It has, or what's the little guy?
Boykins?
Yeah, Boykins. It might be Boykins, but I don't see him being that force that's needed. Maybe Devin Duvernay steps up. We're not sure.
Duvernay does a little bit every game. I mean, like last game, I think he had like 4 receptions on 4 targets. Like he is efficient when he has the ball thrown to him. I just don't think that they utilize him as much as they can. And he has been a good pass catcher when given the opportunity.
So who's your pick for this game?
I'm going Chargers. I'm going. Part of it's fantasy related. Yes.
Okay.
I'm putting that into the universe. Justin Herbert, Eckler. I have Keenan Allen in the league, and Mike Williams is making Keenan Allen somewhat of an afterthought. He just isn't the touchdown threat that he was before Mike Williams' emergence. But I think that there's too many weapons on the Chargers side of the ball offensively that they can just get it done. Austin Eckler showed us against the Browns, and that's a good Browns defense that they went and dropped 40 plus on. I think that they could do the same thing to the Ravens. And Justin Herbert he gets it done with his feet pretty well, more than he probably gets credit for. And I think that he can avoid the pass rush enough and get his receivers are talented enough to get open, and he is very accurate on those deep ball throws as well. So I think the Chargers have this one. They're just more prolific of an offense.
For those of you that have not been on a Justin Herbert train since last year, I need you to hop on it, because he is that good. The man is a legitimate top 5 quarterback talent in this league. And if you haven't watched him, do yourselves a favor and go watch that kid, because he's a stud. That being said, Baltimore's defense did something on, was that Monday night?
Yes. Monday.
That concerned me. They allowed a relatively mediocre Colts offense to move the ball at will. And
yeah.
And that is very concerning going forward. If it wasn't for a miraculous 19-point comeback by Lamar, they would have gotten smoked. So they're lucky they have Lamar on their side because they didn't have the running game that night. The Colts did a good job of keeping the running game in check. That was the first they broke the streak, the 100-yard streak.
But that's mostly because of Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, mostly because of Lamar. And this is where I go Chargers. Because the Chargers have that ability to put up a 40 bomb on a good to great defense in the Browns, the Ravens defense hasn't shown that they could even be good this year. They've shown they could be And I think that the Chargers are going to have their way with them. And it's going to take another miraculous comeback by Lamar, hopefully, because I have him in the Sports Taylor's Fantasy League, and I'm going against Reynald, and I need that since Brady dropped 32 on me. I need one of them 50-plus games from Lamar again. So
I feel like every week you're talking about needing, like, putting up a prayer to win a game. Like, you really begin.
It's a fact. It's a fact. In the 2 leagues where I auto-drafted, it's been a lot.
A whole struggle for you.
OD. Now, I believe that, like you said, the Chargers are too talented. There's too much on the offensive side of the ball for that. And then you have the emergence of I forgot the 6'8" tight end's name. It starts with a P, but his emergence as a red zone target.
Rookie, right?
You know what?
Was it rookie or was it second year?
I think it's second year.
Yeah.
You know, his emergence, and then you have Jared Cook. Like they have too many weapons to score, and it's going to be really hard to stop them within a so-so defense.
Manny in the comments says Sammy Watkins is playing this Sunday. I just looked at the report. It says Watkins is out versus the Chargers.
Who are your sources, Manny?
Yeah, Manny Schefter.
Are you working with Schefter still?
Yeah.
I know, right?
I like that take though. Let's move on. Next up is Chiefs at Washington Football Team. This is a get right game. Like, it just has to be 2-3 Chiefs. Do you imagine? That doesn't even sound right.
It doesn't. Last place Chiefs.
It's true.
It sounds weird.
True. Even sounds even weirder. In the Mahomes era.
Crazy is he still leading the league in TDs? It's wild. It is a weird year.
He still tops in like TDs. I think was it yards.
Richard said Chiefs by 30. I think I might shock people.
Oh man. Don't you say it.
Go ahead, Steph.
No, you go. You go. No, you go first because you went and teased it.
All right. I get it. It's Pat Mahomes. Washington Football Team is really bad. Their defense is awful.
Yeah.
Is awful.
No one's expecting that.
But this Chief defense might be historically bad.
There might not be a Terry McLaurin. He hasn't practiced all week. That is something to note.
Okay, if Terry McLaurin plays.
Okay, yes.
If Terry McLaurin plays. Thank you for that tidbit. I needed that for fantasy as well.
Yeah,
if Terry McLaurin plays, I'm going to go with the Washington Football Team in an upset, and here's why. Because you also have the Atlanta Falcons who had a bad defense. Tyler Heineke can put up numbers against a bad defense. He has shown he is capable.
He's a gunslinger.
Exactly. He's not afraid to throw the ball downfield.
Yeah.
If Andy Sorensen is any indication, if his last few games is any indication of what is going to happen, you're going to see Ryan Seals-Jones with like 4 catches for 100 yards and 2 TDs because he has been brutal on the backside of the field. And I don't know if you guys saw the meme with Tyrann Mathieu just throwing his hands up every time he gets beat for a TD. There's like 3 or 4 different images where Sorensen has his whole head turned around because the tight end or some receiver is 20 yards behind him. So I can see an upset happening if McLaurin plays because Tyler Heineke is going to force the ball down the field, and the Chiefs have no pass rush right now. No pass rush. If you give him time, he will pick you apart.
Ricky Seals-Jones.
Ricky Seals-Jones. I'm sorry. And I get it. Mahomes is Mahomes. He's going to do what he does.
Boy.
But Mahomes can still put up 30 points, and the Chiefs defense can still give up 35.
Yeah. I will say this. If there is no Terry McLaurin, I could, and I hope, part of me is just hoping for this, again, fantasy implications, but I could really see Antonio Gibson having one of those 100-yard rushing, 100-yard receiving type of games. if they're smart. I just don't, they haven't utilized him enough in the passing game. And yes, I know McKissick is really good out of the backfield. He's great on their third down conversions, and they like him in the 2-minute drill. But they're not giving enough credit to how explosive Antonio Gibson is with his 4.3 speed. If you don't have one of your playmakers, I think you have to use Antonio Gibson as a playmaker in the passing game because the matchups are going to be favorable for him. So whether he can get into the secondary, on a run, or you're splitting him wide, or have him come out the backfield on a wheel route or something, Gibson needs to be a centerpiece to me in this offense.
He needs to be their Christian McCaffrey. There it is. Wiki. And as Steph puts his DJ hat on, I will continue. But yes, they need Antonio Gibson to be a C-Mac. I just want to address Richard Carl in the comments. Shout out, he's been real active in the chat, and he made a point that I want to address. He said when someone's on pace to be historically bad and talking about the Chiefs defense, it's only time till they self-correct. And here's the thing. I believe if they were on the pace to be better, yes, but they've been trending downward for the last couple years. Like they were a bend don't break when they won the Super Bowl, and they've only gotten worse.
They got better as that season went along.
Yeah.
They weren't a good
Super Bowl
defense to start that season. Yes.
But they were still bend don't break. They were never a lights out defense. That was never their MO. And the fact that they can't stop anything downfield
is going to be.
I mean, I didn't want to go with the cliche. Thought about it though.
It's a classic. It's a classic. It's not a cliche. It's a classic.
And but also your other take, that's really interesting. He said OBJ in Washington in 2 to 3 weeks expected. That's interesting. I kind of want to see it.
I definitely want to see it. Again, fantasy purposes. Like, we have not had a really good season from OBJ, like an OBJ season from him since he's been in Cleveland. And your boy, and I'm going to call Mayfield your boy because you went and drafted him.
No. Don't do that. Do not give the people that. Well, no. People, do not allow Stefan to throw all this salt on my name. Baker was never my QB1, never my first choice. I got queued up 3 straight times. I believe it was Herbert, Stafford, and then Russell Wilson. So I settled on Baker. Yeah, that's right, Ray Jarvis. You heard me. I settled on Baker because Baker is not that guy.
Well, who were your quarterbacks again? It was Baker. You drafted Deshaun Watson, and there was a third.
Justin Fields, who I'm just
Justin
kind of
Fields. Yeah, and and this is like a single quarterback league. But
listen, man, you messed up my draft.
What is your team? Wait, what league was that again? Is that the ESPN league with Crom?
Yes, the ESPN league.
What's your record?
I'm 2-3. I'm right in the middle of the pack.
That's more wins than I expected.
You are just rude.
I'm 5-0, but whatever.
Hold on, guys. Just for a second, I gotta tell you, you guys may think Steph is this nice guy. Shout out to you, Garrison, because I have to address this. You guys think Steph is the nicest, poliest of all time. Steph can be really diabolical when he's ready. He knew my quarterback situation was dire. But before that, he calls me up when I leave work one day, and he's like, yo, this league is wild. Somebody just dropped Terry McLaurin after one bad game. And Manny is in front of me on the waiver wire, but don't say nothing. I'm second. I was like, all right, you my bro. I got you. So I held him down. The next day, Justin Herbert gets dropped. This man doesn't say anything. And I
was 11th on the waiver wire.
I think I was first or second on waivers. Then he comes in our chat and drops 2 pictures of these two and like, look who I got, fellas, with the mean smirk. When I tell you I was livid because my quarterback situation is so ass in this league, and he's sitting there, he didn't even need Justin Herbert. He was sitting on his bench for 3 weeks. Imagine that.
Hold on. Everything happens for a reason because my starter was Russell, and he's out for 8 weeks. Now I got Herbert. So it was meant to be. And that's not my fault, all right? One, if I disclose information to you and you then go disseminate it to other people, you can't be trusted. I wouldn't tell you anything again after that. But that's what I'm saying. You didn't. And it's good that you didn't, because then I wouldn't trust you ever again. But with the Herbert thing, why would I tell anybody in a league where anyone can see this information, right? Okay, people, listen to this, right? Whether it's ESPN, Yahoo, NFL.com, whatever you use, when transactions go through, if you're the person that doesn't go and look at every transaction, it's your own fault. Because what I do is I look at who was dropped.
Shit, bro.
No, it wasn't. It was not. I was the only person that decided that, you know what, let me see who's being dropped for these people being picked up. Because it's early. People drop good, good players early in the season. I saw Herbert wasn't even dropped for a play. They just dropped him outright because this person had Tom Brady. And they thought that they didn't need Herbert. There's a lot of inexperienced people.
I hope your season crashes and burns in that league. I'll never let you live it down.
You putting bad juju into the world like they're just going to receive bad juju, and that's why you're 2-3, about to be like 2-7. But I'm saying,
if when we match up together, if I upset you, we're talking about it on the show.
That's fine. We could talk about it. My team would have to be awful that week because even if they're bad, I can still beat you. Like I just beat Manny last week, and that wasn't even a good week for me. Like my team is just.
Manny said you're getting eliminated in the first round.
Yo, Manny wants that with his whole ass heart, and it's not gonna happen. It's all right though.
I kind of want it too because you talking crazy.
I don't talk that crazy. You're the one that brought this up. I'll move on from fantasy. All I want to say is it's not my fault. I happen to pay attention to the waiver wire and figure out who was getting dropped. And 11th priority, I end up with Herbert. There's 10 other people that dropped the ball.
Anywho, moving on.
Yes, moving on. I'm sorry. So you have the Washington football team.
Yes, and an upset with Scary Terry playing.
Okay, with Scary Terry. Okay. I just want to make sure we have that because I'm going to revisit it on Monday. Next up, the undefeated Cardinals versus the 3-2 Browns. Who do you have here? Because
I don't know if the people remember my Browns take, but my Browns take was the Browns will not make the playoffs.
Browns gonna Browns, yes.
Browns gonna Brown. That was my explanation. The Browns gonna Brown. They're gonna make the playoffs, even with that defense and all the weapons they have. It's just they're like the Jets Central. I mean, that's what they are with talent.
I was gonna say Jets Central. That damn. I wish we could be like that. Then.
I'm talking about it in terms of like bad things happening for no reason.
I get it.
But
my Nick Chubb.
Exactly. You know,
who's out this week?
I think the Cardinals getting Zach Ertz is huge. Like I don't like.
Yeah,
their offense was
Max
already
Williams went down.
Then you add a Zach Ertz who really wasn't utilized properly because Gase Jr. in Philly. Wow. So I'm gonna go with the Cardinals here. I got the Browns faltering. Probably early second half, and I think Kyler's gonna just run all over them. And the running game is going to open up the passing game. Again, I always give the Browns secondary credit, but I don't think they can cover everything that Arizona has to offer.
I agree with you. I'm going to go Cardinals here too. I mean, we saw what the Chargers did to this Browns team, and I think that the Cardinals can replicate that. I do like Ertz there because Max Williams was a great option for Kyler, and that injury he had was so nasty. They showed it on replay. My knee still hurts from it, but
because you're getting old, bro.
No. You didn't see the tackle? He had a 200+ pound man fly at his knee, and it popped out. He destroyed ligaments. It was ugly. It's gnarly. But I think Zach Ertz is going to flourish in this offense. I think we'll see a lot more Rondale Moore too. I think he's going to be someone that we've seen here and there. He has really great speed. And he has good hands.
I thought it was really interesting that they handed the ball off to him a couple times. I thought that was really interesting.
Because of that speed. I just think that they realize, throughout the week, how vital of a piece he can be, kind of like how the Giants and Kadarius Toney he's become more of a part of their offense.
Let's see if Jason Garrett keeps that, though. But continue.
If Jason Garrett wants to keep a job, he will for sure do that. I mean, I think, what is it? Shepard's coming back and Slayton's coming back. But
I don't think it should matter. But we'll get to that.
It shouldn't matter. Yeah, we will get to it. But I just think that the offense, we've seen, again, the Chargers put up big points against the Browns. I think they can. And the Browns don't have Nick Chubb. And yes, Kareem Hunt is there.
Yeah, for you fantasy guys, Nick Chubb is out.
Yes. But Nick Chubb is one of the most efficient running backs in this league. And Kareem Hunt can handle a heavier workload. I just believe that what Nick Chubb does in between the tackles, Kareem Hunt probably cannot do consistently enough. And this
I disagree with that.
I'm not to the same effect. I'm not saying he can't at all. I think that Nick Chubb is a more efficient, definitely more efficient running back than Kareem Hunt. And Kareem Hunt is very talented. But I don't know if he can put together the game that Nick Chubb can for this offense, where you have a Baker Mayfield who has not been very accurate, and he's missed some wide open receivers.
Here's where I think Kareem Hunt plays in the passing game, which
he will, and I think he will. He definitely will play in the passing game. He does, and that's what he does well. I'm not saying he won't.
I think Kareem Hunt has a big game. I also think that he will do well enough on the ground. I think his where we might agree in terms of between the tackles, his burst of speed once he gets through the first level. Nick Chubb has like he's just another level when it comes to that. Yeah. I don't think Kareem Hunt is there, but I do think he can run hard enough where he's efficient and effective enough for their offense to move the ball.
Yeah, Richard's saying here that Chubb is more efficient after first touch, after contact.
Yeah, that's kind of what I just said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we both have Cardinals. I'll move along. Seahawks, Steelers. 2-3 Seahawks, 2-3 Steelers. These are two teams that just have been really bad. I mean, the Steelers, the one bright spot, Juju is obviously out, but the one bright spot has really been Harris.
Yeah.
He is on a team that just looks awful offensively. He has managed to get it done, and he's what Le'Veon Bell was really for the Steelers back when he was on the Steelers.
I got to be honest. I didn't think him going to that team, he was going to be that good of a runner.
Yeah.
Because of their lack of depth at the offensive line, Big Ben just kind of being a shell of himself. I thought he was going to struggle. But again, his ability to pass catch, which he didn't do much at Bama as much as he's doing now.
Yeah.
Not saying he couldn't do it, but I think he is the Steelers offense at this point. And him and Deontay Johnson.
Deontay Johnson, boy. He's going to get more targets too now that Juju's out. We got.
This is a tough one for me because I do like what Geno did in coming in on that 98-yard drive. I loved it. I loved it.
That's a nice drive.
Mm-hmm. It was a great job. It was a great drive. Seattle's defense is bad. This is a toss-up for me, but just because I think there's more consistency with the Steelers defense as opposed to the Seahawks defense, I'm gonna go Steelers here. But I do think it might be a tightly played game.
I think it will too. And what I was just looking up to see if Chris Carson was playing, because that's what my decision hinged on. If Chris Carson was going to be in this game, and not the backup, who I'm forgetting his name now, is
Alex Collins.
Collins. Alex Collins. Yeah.
Get with it, bro. You're late.
All right, excuse me. But yeah, Chris Carson is out. So I just think that with the Steelers defense and that running game, I can see the Steelers edging the Seahawks. But like you said, I think it's close. It's not going to be this blowout of a game. Although Big Ben did have a nice throw to Deontay Johnson, one of his deeper passes. But I don't know if that's something we could come to expect. I
don't think so.
He airs it out once in a game, and it's like, his arm is hanging. So I will take Steelers.
No respect.
Is it rude or is it accurate? Because have we seen Big Ben? Yes, we
have.
Fair
enough. I will give you that.
Yes, it's not.
You're still rude.
I'm sorry, Steelers fans.
That's
Dolphins,
Eric.
Jaguars in London.
So Rick, first of all, Rick, shout out to you for giving me the link for the Dolphins games because you know my son unfortunately roots for these filthy fish. But Rick said KJ needs to make sure he's up at 9:00 sharp to watch the Dolphins kick butt. Is Tua officially back, Steph?
I believe so. That's the last report I saw, that Tua is a go for Sunday. I honestly, the way that this Miami's defense has been, I'm going Jaguars here. And 0-5 Jags. I have Trevor Lawrence. Well, we have Trevor Lawrence in a dynasty league, and he has improved the last 2 weeks. James Robinson has been a force. And he's rushed the ball in a few times. I think he only has one passing touchdown. He had 3 in the opening game, but I truly believe that Trevor Lawrence with every game is becoming more comfortable, like as we're seeing with some of these other rookie quarterbacks as well, adjusting to NFL defenses and the schemes that they have. This Dolphins team is not very good. Tua being back is a huge boon for them because Brissett wasn't getting it done. But that defense still isn't. I don't think it's something that Trevor Lawrence has to fear, and I think that they can put up enough points to hold off this Dolphins team.
So Xavier Howard is one of the best cover corners in the league for the Dolphins.
Yep.
And I do think that if he's on Marvin Jones, he kind of shuts down one side of the field for Jacksonville. But that being said, if Urban Meyer has any sense, which is not likely,
you think Chenault's not going to go off then?
I think it's possible, but I think James Robinson might run the ball down their throats because when the Dolphins need to stop running backs, they don't. See the Bills game,
But, continue.
But I will say about Tua, we know there's been quarterback controversy in Dolphin land since Tua's been drafted. His health, the merry-go-round with him and Fitz,
Which
him getting benched at the end of the season. Like, it was a lot going on. Now, based on that, if Tua struggles, I can see a situation where we start hearing a Deshaun Watson or, do we trade for Mitch Trubisky? Do we trade for a viable backup to be a starter because Tua is not this guy if he struggles against an 0-5 Jacksonville team?
You think this loss is going to be it? They're going to start calling other teams.
It may be premature, but I do think based on how they've reacted or acted around him, I think that's a possibility. It could be a real possibility that the panic button is hit if they lose this game, which I think they will.
Rick is saying this is one of those games that can easily get someone fired on either side.
Absolutely. 100%. I agree with you, Rick. I could definitely see that. I kind of wanted Urban Meyer fired right after he was hired, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. I think it is premature just in what they invested in Tua to start looking for the next
but here's the thing.
On a 1-14 when Tua has not been, he missed 2 games now.
I get it. But yes, it may be they have a lot invested, but you don't act the way you have acted around your quote unquote franchise quarterback like they did if they have that much invested. They've moved real funny around Tua, like they don't want him there. Yeah. Which is why I can see I'm talking like if he has like a Justin Fields like game. I'm not talking about he goes 20 for
yards.
31 and 221 with a pick and a TD. Yeah. I'm talking about like he really struggles to move the ball.
I don't think that's going to happen. I think that's like there's a very small chance of that happening with Tua just because he's more battle tested than a rookie quarterback. But I just think that his leash is longer than that. That's why they won't make that call after this game, even though this is an 0-5 Jaguar team that they should beat or can beat. I wouldn't say should, just with the way that the team has performed.
I just want to say Richard Carlo has another proclamation. He said that Deshaun Watson will be in Miami next year. Book it. For my fandom, I can't have that. Nope, absolutely not. We already have Josh Allen to deal with in the division. I do not need Deshaun Watson. Plus, I like him. No, do not speak that into existence. I cannot have it.
KJ is agreeing with Richard here.
Absolutely. I told my wife that I would love for us to go down to a Dolphins Jets game out in Miami, drenched in my Jet gear, and I asked my wife what jersey you're gonna wear. She said Dolphins. I'm always with my son. I felt some type of way about that, right? I really felt some type of way because I got my wife one of the pink Darrelle Revis jerseys when he was that guy.
Good when he was good, yeah.
Yeah, and if she gets a Dolphins jersey, I might just have to cut it up. I just might
cut it up
because I can't.
You cutting up harder than money though. Like you bought that. Yeah, put that on eBay, baby.
I don't know, man. I don't know if I can have that. I don't know how I feel about it. Like we walk in together and I got my Jets jersey on, and she's sitting there next to me with a Dolphins jersey. I feel some type of way. Like, go sit with Rick.
I mean, yeah, probably have to sit with Rick. I honestly, man, if you were to do that, KJ's just not, he's not nice when he's ready to be. And he will let you have it. Boy. That first Dolphins touchdown, I just imagine he just tearing into you. I want video recording though. I want to see that. I need someone to record that because it's going to be really funny. Let's move on though. We're running out of, we're already overtime, but I want to get to the rest of these teams. Bills Titans. This is the same Bills team that just.
I'm sorry. Peter, real quick. Peter said the P in Poli stands for petty. You're not wrong, bro. You're not wrong at all.
Oh man, yeah. No, I'm gonna love that one. That is pretty accurate. That is definitely accurate. I like to believe that I'm above that sometimes, but not always.
You're not. Stop it. Absolutely not. Look at that maniacal villain laugh.
All right. Well, Richard has Bills by 30 against the Titans. the Titans do have Julio back, and AJ Brown obviously played last game. So they have their pass catchers back. You still have Derrick Henry. This is like they cannot be counted out offensively because of Derrick
They
Henry.
can't.
Period. This is a guy that gets 30 plus carries, and even if you stop Derrick Henry once, twice, you know that stiff arm is coming, and he's about to roll over somebody. He's a seam roller.
I mean, at this point,
what was it? So I'm just saying, I want to say it was what, 2 weeks in a row, 150 plus yards he had from scrimmage, and then it was 130 last game. He's being involved in the passing game this year too. This is a scary thought that Derrick Henry before this was barely seeing a target or two in a game. Now he's getting 3 or 4 targets and converting them, catching them, and now he's a threat with a head of steam with the ball in his hand coming out the backfield. I wouldn't say by 30 necessarily for this.
This is my week of upsets. I think the Bills go down here because of Derrick Henry controlled clock. And at some point, we just have to ask ourselves, is Derrick Henry an actual human or is he an Autobot? I mean, like, it's a real question because
he Decepticon, and not because he's like evil or something, but he has like Autobots are just like too kind. He has a demeanor about him. You've seen his stiff arm. Optimus Prime would never stiff arm like that. Megatron / Galvatron would stiff arm like that. All right, Starscream stiff arms like that.
You know what?
Bumblebee
Starscream is perfect. I'll give that to you. Derrick Henry is Starscream. That's perfect.
Yeah, Ironhide maybe. I'll give Ironhide like a little credit because he's kind of a badass, but he's a Decepticon.
Richard, bro, you giving Josh Allen? I get it. He's having an MVP type season again. He's a top 3 quarterback in the league. He's not dropping 5 TDs if Derrick Henry is controlling the clock, because that could be a real thing, where the Titans grind out 12 and 14 play drives and just keep Josh Allen off the field. It's a real thing.
It's going to be, I think it's all about time of possession for this one.
Absolutely.
And the Titans need that. They're going to have long drives. Derrick Henry's going to have to be the center of that. Even though they have Julio Jones and AJ Brown, like they're going to help move the sticks. And Julio Jones I'm hoping that he's 100% healthy, because if he's 50, I don't think he would go at 50, but if he's like 70, 80%, I don't know if you can get the best Julio Jones at that point. But Derrick Henry.
Did you see the hallucinations in the comments? I hope he's trolling.
I thought my mic skipped again the way that you said that. I was like, oh my God.
Reyno says Zeke greater than Henry. Yo, bro, put it down.
Right.
Put it down.
Why'd you even say that? Don't introduce ignorance like that right now. You need to go somewhere with that. All right. We're not talking about that. Zeke just had a good game. Like, be happy. But no, I'm gonna go. I'm still gonna go Bills here, right? I do like your pick, but I will take the Bills. I think they edge them, but it's not gonna be this blowout of a game. I do think Derrick Henry eats up the clock and they score with him. But I'm gonna go 2 scores.
2 score. I could see it being a close game. And we obviously know even when defenses key in on Henry, he's still able to do what he does. I could see the Titans winning on a late field goal. Yeah. Hopefully, we don't have the debacle that we had with kickers last week.
That was fun, though. That was fun to watch. I want to say that Knox has been a revelation and another option for the Bills, which I do think makes them even more dangerous.
I mean, there's no Sorensen in the defensive backfield this week. So.
Yeah. And did Diggs? I didn't see what Diggs did last week, but he has been quiet this year.
He's been relatively quiet, especially in
Emmanuel Sanders, though.
Shout out to
for those that got him in. Yes, those that have him in fantasy, man, he's been really blessing. Moving on, got Vikings at Panthers and Sam Darnold. He looked real Sam Darnold-esque last week. And the Panthers at this point. What?
No. We'll get to it in a second. I don't want to address it. We'll get to it.
Cool. But at this point, this new look Panthers defense, because they were not good last year, but this year they are pumping on all cylinders. I can see them getting to Kirk Cousins and giving this Minnesota team issues, giving them the fits. But I'm taking the Vikings here. You have, whether it's Madison or Cook, they're both money back there, RB1s, regardless if Cook is out. Madison gets it done, but Cook is back. Justin Jefferson is he can't be stopped. And Adam Thielen is just Adam Thielen. He is consistent. So I think that this offense, and Kirk Cousins finds a way to hit his guys. He makes it happen, whether it's in tight coverage or not. They're just that talented. And with Dalvin Cook 100%, hopefully 100%, I just don't see the Panthers offense being able to keep up. As long as this secondary for Minnesota and the defense for Minnesota can make Darnold uncomfortable. Not very uncomfortable, just a little bit. Because
unless the Panthers
like
are
he's
playing
regressed.
the Giants or Jets, I'm not picking them until C-Mac comes back.
I was going to
Period.
say C-Mac. C-Mac is clearly the answer for him. He's looked good with C-Mac. He had a decent game when, since he's been gone, but I cannot see Darnold getting it done against an offense.
I saw a lot of deer in headlights against Philly, and that really bothered me.
Yeah.
A lot of happy feet, just Adam Gase, Sam Darnold, and I ain't like it. Did not like it.
Keep seeing ghosts
Pineapples.
again for sure. Pineapples. All right, let's keep going. I want to get Rams Giants. All right. Now, no one here on Smoke and Mirrors, because the third person is not here. No one's picking the Giants. Right?
I don't even think he would pick the Giants.
I don't know. Deck could always surprise me because it's like, this is the new Deck, right? He clearly now is more rational because Deck from last year wouldn't be talking about the Giants losing all these games. He'd be optimistic at least. But I am excited to see Kadarius Toney featured in this game. He's been the most explosive player the Giants have had since OBJ. All right.
Go Gators.
Shout out to your Gators. He did have the ankle injury coming into the week. He practiced today and I think yesterday on a limited basis. But I can't imagine they're going out there without him. You have no Saquon. You're just getting back Shepard and Slayton. You don't have Golladay. You need Toney to be in this game. And they're going to be throwing it a lot. They're going to be throwing it early and often.
I love what he's become, not just for fantasy purposes, but also because he's a former Gator. Like I like seeing how the guys I root for in college do in the pros. But I do want to say he needs to keep his anger in check because what he did at the end of that game was foolish.
Oh, that punch.
It was very foolish. And he has to be better because he can make a difference in this offense. He can be that X factor that the Giants haven't had since Odell.
Yeah.
He can be that guy. He can run intermediate routes. He could go down the field, and his shiftiness is something we haven't seen in a receiver in a long time.
Speed too.
The way he could stop on a dime and just accelerate it. He is a playmaker. So in order to be that playmaker and to one, feed our fantasy team, and two, just be that guy, you got to stay on the field. Can't be getting tossed for nonsense.
Man,
be better.
Free Odell.
Be better, Kadarius.
A
little pop a finger point.
No, he definitely needs to be better. And this Rams team, they're gonna eat. Matthew Stafford is gonna eat. I'm the emergence of Robert Woods because we knew it was gonna happen, but for fantasy purposes, I needed him to not do as much as he did. But I could see Cooper Kupp. I don't know if we're gonna see both. And this is something I want you to answer. Actually, do you think there's a scenario where both Kupp and Woods can have great games? Because we've seen it alternate so far.
So if that happens, I think they limit the touches for the running backs for Henderson. Sonny Michel is not really big into the offense.
Not yet. He hasn't eaten into to Henderson's carries yet.
But I don't think it's possible. It's kind of similar to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. But I think there's more.
Yeah.
I think Kupp and Woods can both have decent games where one has a monster game and one has a decent game, as opposed to a lesser game and a monster game. I think there's more middle ground with the two of them.
Then like DK and
yes.
Lockett. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, because very often if Lockett goes off, DK has a quiet game and vice versa. Okay, I see that.
And I think because of the offense that they run in LA as opposed to Seattle, there's more intricacy for intermediate routes and yards after the catch. Whereas in Seattle, it's kind of like go big or go home.
Yeah, it's all big plays, mostly big plays. Yeah. All right, so let's wrap this up with the Raiders at Broncos.
Manny.
3-2 Raiders.
Manny.
Remember when they were 3-0? You remember that?
I might have to make another appearance on the Fan Zone if y'all flub this up again. Because you know what? I'm not even gonna do it to myself. I got the Broncos.
Nah, I'm going Broncos too. Although I do like this Raiders defense. I think Teddy Bridgewater does a fine enough job moving the ball, and I think this Broncos defense is going to eat. That's really what I rely on more. The Broncos defense, to me, I could see them getting to Carr, and we saw this right. Carr, when Carr's uncomfortable, when he gets hit, when he gets knocked down, he's not a quarterback.
Please go back to the conversation we had with was it Joey Bosa or Nick Bosa? that what they said about Derek Carr.
Oh, it was Joey Bosa.
Yeah.
I can't. I mean, I'm gonna paraphrase it because I can't remember exactly, but they knew if they knocked him out, they got to him, that he gets scared, that he plays scared after that. Essentially, is what it was. So they got to him early, and he was shook, and they saw that in his play, and I think everyone else saw that on Monday night, how he wasn't the same quarterback, and he hasn't been the same quarterback really since that encounter. And I think defenses are looking the same way. If you knock him down, if you put him on his ass, you will have a different Derek Carr. He does not have the same confidence in the pocket to throw, because now he's thinking about who's bearing down on him and trying to get the ball as quick as he can, maybe rushing to get the ball out so he doesn't get hit.
Also, and shout out Richard. He mentioned something. He reminded me of something that I wanted to discuss about the Raiders. I didn't talk to you all offline. This is the first time you're hearing it, right? We have already seen the peak of Josh Jacobs.
Oh,
as I feel about Baker Mayfield, he's not that guy, right? Kenyon Drake needs to be the RB1 on that team because of his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and just be a better route runner than Josh Jacobs. And Josh Jacobs struggles to run in between the tackles. Gruden's gone. I don't know what the offense is going to look like now.
Yeah.
Hopefully that means Brian Edwards gets some shine. I would hope. You know,
we shall see.
But I think the Chargers.
He stinks.
I think the Chargers kind of knocked Derek Carr into being David Carr. And this is why he had to be traded in fantasy, because the mediocrity, I can't take it. He has the ability to be an above average quarterback, but he falls so far back into mediocrity so quickly. It's tough to count on the Raiders to win games.
Keyshawn has faith. Keyshawn has him as an elite quarterback. He was looking good for them first 3 games. He was
until he started putting him on his ass.
I want to say
even the Bears did. Like, that Bears loss is a bad loss. That is a really, really bad loss.
I do want to mention Richard in the chat again. He says the Air Raiders are 3-0, while the run-heavy Raiders are 0-2. So, I mean, speaking to your point about Josh Jacobs, he isn't that guy. He's not the guy you can lean on and give 20-plus carries and get the win. He's not Derrick Henry. But I do fear that even when the Raiders air it out, if they're going against a defense like the Broncos have, I don't think Derek Carr is going to feel comfortable enough in the pocket to air that ball out. Now, we don't know what that offense is going to look like because Gruden is gone. But if I'm assuming it's not going to be too drastically different than what it has been, I don't see the Raiders pulling this game out. I think if they get to Derek Carr, he's not going to be.
Raiders they're going through an identity crisis right now. They don't know who they are as an offensive football team, and it sucks because the Raiders defense is actually pretty good. They get to the quarterback. You know, they're what's the one? Abrams is not getting flagged for targeting as much anymore. You know, he's still a heavy hitter. They have some solid pieces on defense.
Yeah.
But the offense just doesn't know who they are. And I mean, I'm happy Gruden's fired, but that also is a testament to Gruden just not being a good coach.
Yeah. And then that was covered a lot on Fan Zone. We're running out of time here as far as that situation with the emails. But
shout out to my guy Josh in the comments. Appreciate you, Josh, for pulling up.
He needed to be fired. He stepped down. He should have been fired.
And Josh, the 49er fan, get Trey Sermon to football, bro. Get Trey Sermon to football. Enough of this.
Honest. Trey Sermon and his lack of usage is what's going to
one carry for 7 yards. 0.7. What are we doing here? I'm sorry. I'm going on a fantasy rant. Forgive me. We have to end the show.
Yeah. Yes, we do. You have anything for the people, Greg, before we head out?
What is it? It's my birthday weekend. I'm turning 35. The big 3-5.
Damn, you don't look it. Black don't crack, baby. I would have said 31.
So definitely gonna look to have a good time. Wifey has something special planned for the weekend. I don't know what's going on. So I'm looking forward to my weekend and just a weekend of relaxing, no work, and just relaxation.
Nice. So happy birthday to Greg. You guys hit him up and make sure you say happy B-Day.
Appreciate it, guy. And shut up, man. He said I'm turning 50.
Wow.
And this guy came in here laughing. Get out
It's
of
his
here.
birthday weekend, y'all. Come on, Manny. You could do better. I believe in you. Come on. Yeah, your Raiders suck. You don't have to suck. Just remember that. But that's gonna do it for us. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe to all Hitless content on YouTube, Facebook, and IG. The handle is Sports HL. Again, that is Sports HL. Coming up, we're gonna have the Sunday show at 12 o'clock. Greg, you making an appearance there? Because I mean, at this point,
I mean, you never know with me. I may pop up, I may not, but it depends because I'm not trying to get smacked neither for popping up while I'm away.
I see. Well, shout out to Travis. He always gets a mention. He didn't really get one this week, today, so I'm gonna give him a mention right now. Shout out to Travis.
Bad take, Travis.
Show.
That's what we got to call him.
And then Monday we'll be back at the new time that you all should know now, 7 to 8. I hope you are. We don't have to continue saying
it sounded like you said 7 8 7
p.m. to 8 7 p.m. to 8. But till then, enjoy your weekend. Greg, happy birthday again. I'll be seeing you this weekend. And everyone enjoy. We'll see you on Monday. Take care.